Oh, hello everyone. Looks like we're live and broadcasting. Uh, about 8 seconds behind. Uh, there was a discussion at StreamYard to turn around and possibly. Hello there, John. Thank you for showing up. Um, let's go back here. Yeah, there was a StreamYard last week had during their weekly thing. I thank you for letting me know that, John. Uh, that one of the questions was is that could they have different the standard they have is a 30-second setup where they can turn around and add a 30-second countdown. Some people were saying that was too long. Few people said it was too long. A lot of people were saying that it was too short. I know with when I use it, I click the program, it starts counting down. Then I hit go live, and then it takes a while for YouTube to catch on that it's on live. So apparently it's only about 8 seconds when it finally says, "Hey, we're up and running," and that's a little bit too short in my opinion. Maybe another minute. Basically because of the delay between YouTube and StreamYard, not necessarily with StreamYard itself. I mean, 30 seconds might be a little bit long, but the thing is, with all the delays between StreamYard and YouTube, it's a little too short in my opinion. Now, I don't know how well it works with Facebook, because that is an option. But right now I'm not doing Facebook at this point in time. There was a thing saying that there was a major data breach and all that. You only saw about an 8-second countdown. Yeah, that's. I think that it's at 8 seconds that that you started to see, John. That's when I started to see that. So I was that 8-second delay. I was actually at 0. So yeah, it's supposed to be not necessarily. It takes a couple of clicks and all that to go from 30. So it's usually, I think, 27 seconds that it quote starts. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But it's been an exhausting weekend. I wound up going to a retreat that I had actually paid for, ready to go see it, or ready to go to this event retreat. Basically it was I signed up for it before this thing called the pandemic happened. So it's been 3 years delayed on this. And I earlier this year I got hey, we're actually planning on having said event, or if you wanted to refund your money or join the event. I decided I'll join the event because I haven't really seen these people for a while. Well, hello there, DES Productions. Thank you for coming in. I just left Nissy J is the STS person tonight, and she had her already set up for the beginning, I think around noon time today. What I wound up doing is that, it's like, hey, I'm having the unofficial, or is it unauthorized pre-show for STS. Hello there, Wag. Thank you for dropping in. So it's one of those things of Missy is the only one that I know where she is in the schedule, because she's the one that's there if there's a sorry, if there's a fifth Sunday. So that's why I know that that's how she is set up. But let's poke in and see if anyone turned around and replied to my message. Not too far. I want to be able to grab it back. No one's responded to it. So they're gonna, wait the amount of time to actually turn around and do stuff. Tonight, I decided I'm not really in the mood to do the scenery on the module. Mainly because I had to figure out how to flatten the roadbed back to where it was originally, but across the new section also. Haven't quite figured that out. So I have decided to do, let's switch cameras so you can see what I'm doing. That was also changing cameras was another sore spot with a lot of people on StreamYard, because it's not a simple click or a hotkey. It's a little bit more involved than that. But as you can see, I have buildings tonight. Now these buildings are probably not going to wind up on my current module, but I do have modules that have more of a city scene, which these were sort of aimed in that direction. But these were, I forgot where I got these, but I do remember that they were sort of done up as a probably not a smart idea cleaning this one off, because this is a very reflective one. But put the mascot there. Yeah, these were for a different layout project, which I've have temporarily put aside. It's more of a traction layout, sort of on the ideal of T-Track, where they had small modules. I just basically took their concept of taking two pieces of track and making that the length of the module, and then going in about half as deep. So they're 2 foot by 1 foot modules, but basically for streetcars. And I haven't been able to figure out how to do the curvature. I know how to do it theoretically, but doing it actually, that has been a challenge. So this one, as you can see, I slightly started this one already. I might actually try to figure out how to do the small little details to make it really nice and fanciful. Right now they don't have windows in them yet, but the plan is to eventually also have window glazing in them. Oh, hello there, Carly. Actually, I've had these buildings for a while. I put them together early on in the pandemic for my streetcar setup that currently is put away. But it was something to do before I wound up focusing on the 18th century stuff. So one of the things I'm thinking of is doing these. And one of the things I got to keep on remembering is that they did do painted brick. I mean, there's a lot of times that people do, when they do brick buildings, they're always, usually naked. But the thing is, they have, not that one. We want this one. This one is unopened. This one is open. So it's very silly to, move around this one. Now, I understand the reason why they do a lot of the brick buildings naked, because you see all the mortar lines and etc. Whereas a painted building, you would not see that. But that's what I'm actually contemplating on this one. Now, a lot of times with these style of buildings, you would have the real fancy brick in the front, but usually sometimes the sides and the back would have plain brick, and sometimes they would not be painted. It depends on if they wanted to protect the brick. The first house I lived in was one that had a really nice fancy front on it, but the back on the sides, even though the one side was towards the street because it was on a corner, they didn't really go too crazy with what was on the side, which was, now looking back at it, was sort of kind of odd. You'd think they would, do the sign that, I'm trying to remember now. I think it had a sign on the side. It was the last thing it was, had the apartment up here, and then down here was like a card shop. And there was a sign that's, I believe, Pepsi-Cola, and it sort of went around the building. But the thing is that this side had very unfancy brick on it. So this one is actually missing the other half of the chimneys. After putting this together, I'm not sure where they went, but at the same time, I'm not really. It's more of like a public display layout, and people who are, the public in general, you're not looking at all the minute little details. Some people do all the details and all that. But those are usually, I think, more like permanent layouts. Like, are they DMP? I believe they are, or a good portion of them are. There are. I think I got a couple that were like, I almost want to say pre-DPM. I do want to say these are pre whoever owns them now. Forgot who exactly. I think Woodland Scenics owns PWM now, or at least all the parts and all that. And that's what. But these actually still had the PWM with nothing else saying who owned them. So they are proper original PWM parts. They came in like a sort of like a grab bag thing, if I remember correctly. There was one that actually said Mason on it. I'm trying to think if I can find that one, but there was another one out of this setup which was more parts, and didn't really have instructions with it, but I think I did a pretty decent job with it. But this one I'm thinking about making. I'm trying to think now, because the ones that are not as Since the thing is, a lot of these they have like a commercial building on the bottom, so they had a tendency to be a little bit more prettier than ones that were just apartment buildings. So that's why they have all the more fancier stuff on them. But I think ones that are more not having commercial businesses underneath them were not as fanciful. Yeah, these were pretty nice kits to put together. They do have a little warpage and stuff like that, but a building that's been around for a while would have similar imperfections. But all right, we're gonna go with this one, yellow, and it's one of those things that I happen to realize that this one has an X on it, so it's like, oh, I need to get more of this. And I'm thinking, do I have more of this? So, I got to remember the next time I wander to Bennington, Vermont, and go to the Gamer's Grotto to pick up more of this. Yeah, the thing is, there's not really a model train shop nearby me. They're about at least an hour away. But there is a gaming group or gaming shop, and they have what this is called Citadel. Now these are more for painting the small metal figures and all that, but I think the colors come out pretty well. This is it? Trying to think if that's the original color or not. No, it's not the original color. So that's this brown, Mornfang brown. That's what the door is, and then the McCrag blue is the outside. So they do sort of come out flat, but in a lot of cases, that's what a lot of things were. All right, now let's clean this up a little bit. And we're going to go with yellow on this. All right. This is a double paint cleaner thing. One of the things I like about Citadel is that apparently they do have these are water based. Annoyingly, right now they don't have a decent white. Right now they have a Corax white, which to me looks more of a gray. They did have a white, and this is supposed to be the replacement for it. But when I took a piece of wood, I painted the Corax white on one side, and I forgot what the name of the other one was on the other. And you could tell that one was white and the other one, this was gray. But unfortunately, they don't make that particular white anymore. They say this is white, and it's like, it's not really white. It's more gray. So basically, all the white houses I have right now are the only ones I apparently can only have because they don't make white anymore. In fact, actually, if you look at this building, you see how gray this is. This was done with the other white, and as you can see, these are actually white. Because if you look at the actual color, they're sort of the off-color orange. You can see where I've messed it up a little bit, but This is regular white styrene, but as you can see, that's almost as white as. I don't want to say bone white. I forgot exactly what it is. Right now, I don't have the bottle directly in front of me to say what it was, but I'm actually thinking of that's an idea, using the Corex white for the detail. Yeah, we'll go that direction. All right, now to find relatively flat brush. I didn't realize that thing is, the camera is on a very, very precarious place, so it's definitely not a solid solid spot. So I apologize for that. All right, Corex white. Apparently, since I haven't used it in a while, apparently it's turned into more of a paste instead of a paint. So I'll go on the back side here. See how well or unwell this is going to work. So how has everyone's weekend been going? Oh, hello there, Grandpa Rails. Thank you for coming in. Sorry for not keeping on top of the chat, as I probably should be doing. Now, one of the things I would like to do eventually is to get better lighting. I actually do have better lighting, but it doesn't show up on the camera well. It winds up having it's in sync with the cameras are in sync with the flickering of the frame rate of the camera is in sync with the strobing of the LED lights. So it's really big, huge, and bright and all that. But then when you turn it on, you get on camera, you get all these little lines that sort of go through everything because they're definitely in sync with the frame rate of the camera. So I wound up getting they're the ones that are causing the camera issues I got from Home Depot, but the ones that seem to work are actually from Aldi's. They're really nice units and all that. Unfortunately, they're sealed units, so I had one go out and there was like no way I can actually go in and repair it because it was all ultrasonic welded. Got that. Yeah, it was the easy portion. Now for the not so easy portion of trying not to get stuff where you don't want it. Especially here. Sort of want it on the top. but not on the brick. Yeah, I got some on the brick, but theoretically, I can wind up being covered up. But yeah, this white's a little on the chunky side. Got to figure out a way to make it unchunky. Now, when I was growing up, the house I was in this style of building, where it had the bottom had sort of a kitchen or commercial thing on the bottom, and the apartment was on top. And from what I understand, when I was really young, there was a decision to make a card shop out of it. Running it, the family ran it themselves, mom and dad. Later on, I found out it was more mother than dad. Which in the 70s was a thing. It was in Broadway in Waterville. Has the distinction of being the last building to stand when they did urban renewal. The fire department used it for practice before it was torn down. Interestingly, I don't really remember too much of the basement area, but I remember a portion of the neighbor's basement. Mainly because across the street of 18th Street, the woman over there needed help with getting her coal into her furnace area. And basically what happened was, when I got old enough to understand what to do, basically turned around and threw me into the coal bin and moved the coal around to where it could be more useful. And that was my quote job. Of course, now that I'm remembering it, I don't know if I was paid for said services. So, and I'm assuming me getting paid was, ice cream or something along those lines. All right, let's see if we can find actual paint instead of not quite sure what to call it. Yeah, stuff there. These are on the sides that probably won't be seen, so I'm not too worried about them. Or if they are seen, because the way I think these are going to be done is viewed from the front, so anything from the side's not going to be as well seen. But it is one of those things that, it might not be seen, but at the same time, you also want to do a decent job. All right, I'll flip this over. think I might make the ridge cap also this not white. But it's pretty much a lot. Even though I shook it up, it still seems to be more paste than paint. Not sure how long I'm going to be doing these buildings. Obviously, once I get done with said buildings, I can't go any farther. So, one of the interesting things with doing buildings is that since these are models, you get to see the roofs. And usually, when you see pictures of buildings and all that, you can't see the roofs. So, unless you're doing unless you happen to do a scene where there's where somebody can take a picture from the roof side. Usually it's looking down a hill and all that, and then you're able to see what's on the roofs and all that. Now these two chimneys, I'm gonna paint them like the caps are all the way around, and it's one of those things that sometimes you're doing things and seeing anybody notices. These are not going to be contest models. From what I understand, contest models are a lot more involved. And might wind up doing some contest models, but basically once I'm done with the contests, just go back to I don't want to say Hollywood. I don't want to say Hollywood buildings, but definitely not at the same level as what a lot of people expect in contest models. Oh, hello there, race fan. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, some builders are HVAC units, but well, not necessarily HVAC units. Mainly because the streetcar layout is more in the. Trying to think what I want to say in the 1920s, sort of the heyday of the streetcar. Definitely before they started pulling out stuff. In Albany, New York, where the layout is going to be in, The last streetcars they had were 1945. But they were in the process at that time of taking a lot of the tracks that were out. But they were, they were operating, but that was only usually what was in city. And then eventually they stopped. Now, how far do I want to go down with this? Now this I got to be a little bit careful of. Because this is the actual front of the building. So this is actually going to be seen. Of course, I do not like how the windows came out. But I'm just going to go with it. A lot of times, when it comes to doing stuff, it's practice, practice, practice. And you're going to have some things that you're just not going to like after you're putting, while you're in the process of making it. But at the same time, just have to keep on going until things look right. Things can be replaced. And you gotta, basically turn around, and every time you do it, you get better every day. Sometimes, there's, with pure painting, you can have happy little accidents, but usually with models, not so much. Now, the interesting thing is that looking at real buildings, you do see variations on stuff. All right, this I'm only going to go down that far. There's actually the mold on this actually is slightly deformed.